ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 7th chapter, verse number 6. Vidura is asking questions to Maitreya Rishi after he heard the description of creation, and his main doubt is that Lord, who has been described as the person instrumental in creation and who existed before the universe came into existence, who is transcendental and who is free from any desires and complete in himself. How can such a person engage in any action? And moreover, since there was nothing existing before the creation, that means he is the cause, and the cause has to undergo a change to give rise to the effect. So how can Lord, who is free from any modifications, be the cause? Because cause has to always undergo certain change to become the effect. And it is also not possible that he does everything for the sake of Leela, because he is not interested in anything material, and there is nobody else anywhere to play, because it was said that he was the only one before creation. So after saying this, then his second question was that it is also very amazing that a soul who is spiritual by nature can become implicated in material energy and lose its awareness of itself, because in the present state of conditioning we are not aware of our true nature. So he says there are 5 reasons in which one can lose one's knowledge or consciousness, either because of some particular place or time, or by oneself or by another or because of a particular situation. So he says none of these things are applicable to the soul. So this is the second question he asked. And now in this verse he says, Bhagavan ek eva esha sarva kshetresu avastitah amusya durbhagattam va klesha va karma bhikuta. Says it is Lord only who is situated in every body. In every kshetragyamapi kshetragramapi mam vidhi sarva kshetresu bharata. Krishna says that he is the kshetragya in every human body or every body actually. So if he is the one person who is situated in all, then how is that living being can have this unfortunate position of having this miserable plight in the material world and suffering and getting the reaction of his own actions? So he says, how is this possible? Because if Lord is the controller and knower, and if we are under his control, then how can Maya come and trouble us? First of all, it is not possible for Maya to influence, and then even if it is influencing, why we suffer? So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Na cha ayam anyaya arajak dvarajyo riva sambhavaniya. He says that this unjust situation which living being is facing, or this illogical situation, it is not possible because there is no one in control. People also suffer when there is no ruler. Then whoever is powerful will trouble the weak. Or if there are more than one ruler, then you get pulled this way, that way. And both controllers or both rulers will try to have control over you, then also a person has to suffer. So that is not possible. So yad aja nirapradham jivam para bhavet. Only when there is no one in control, then Maya can come and influence us or rule over us. But if Lord is there, then how is that Maya is exercising her influence? So then the verse is answering, Sarvesham api jivanam kshetresu dehesu bhagavan eva avasthita. That in all the bodies, in all the forms, only Lord is situated, antaryami rupena swayam eva sthita. Only he is there as super soul. And न तो राजा इव स्वराज्यसु स्वप्रतिनिधि उपरूप द्वारा इत्यर्थ. It is not that the king is there, he is in the capital, in his palace, and if you are living in another city, then king is not there personally. He has his own representative, and then this representative can trouble you. So such is not the case here, because Lord is personally present with every living entity. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta. I am situated in everybody's heart. Not that his representative. Ekeva iti dvarajya shankapi parahrita. And the verse says that he is alone. So it is not that there are more than one person controlling us. Ataiva tasmin bhagavati sarva pratipalake atraiva tishtati api amusya jivasya durbhagatvam anandadi bhransova karmabhir avidyakahi kleshova kuta. So the question is that if Lord is present with us, and He is the protector of everybody. So why is that a living being is suffering in this unfortunate situation and fallen from the place of bliss, or getting misery because of ignorance? Karma also signifies ignorance. People are performing activities in this material world because of ignorance. If they really understood what is human life, or what is our relationship with God, what is our true nature, then we will not engage in materialistic activities, because we will realize that there is no use of them. So this is the question which he has asked. Then next he says, Etasmin me mano vidvan khindate jnana sankate tanna paranuda vibho kasmalam manasam mahat. So he says that this is my doubt, or scholarly says that I am completely in the troublesome situation of ignorance, ajnana sankata. So like sometimes we are in some troublesome situation, we don't know what is to be done, what action we have to take. So this is his. So he says, please dispel this ignorance, because my mind is completely incapable of understanding what is the right action or what is the proper understanding. It is covered by ignorance. Kasmalam. Mala means dirt. Ajnanam eva sankatam durgam. So he says this ignorance is like a big obstacle. You want to reach somewhere and there is a thick stone wall in front of you, high. You cannot break it, you cannot jump over it. So Gyan is like that. We are completely covered by it. We don't know what is on the other side of the wall. And the path is going this way or another way. Tasmin kasmalam moham. And because of this, my mind is completely in delusion. Therefore he says, Paranuda apakaru. Please remove it. Naiti asmado doshiti bhavasana. He is using the word we in plural, although he is one person, because in Sanskrit we can also be used for oneself. So Shri Sukha Vacha, Sukadeva Goswami said, Saitham chodita ksatra tattva jigyasuna munihi pratyaya bhagavad chitta smayana iva gata smayaha. Sukadeva said to Parikshit Maharaj that in this way, when Vidura implored the great sage with the intention of knowing the reality, then the sage, he smiled, and fixing his mind on the Lord and becoming free from any surprise, then he spoke as follows. So Maitreya is called here as Muni because he is a thinker, but specifically said that he fixed his mind on the Lord, Bhagavad Chitta. Because this question is such that it is related with the Lord, and therefore he is meditating on him to get inspiration from him, so that he is able to convey the reality. to realize is one thing, and then to convey it is another thing. There are people who are realized, but they are unable to transfer their knowledge to another person. Because experience is something which is very difficult to inform to other person. If I have eaten some nice sweet, and then I can explain to you how wonderful it was, and you can understand if you have experience of eating sweet. But if you have never eaten sweet, especially the sweet which I ate, then it is difficult for you to grasp what I am saying. So, because we understand things by our own experience, and if somebody has experienced the absolute reality, then it is very difficult to speak it in words, because whatever you say, it will not be the experience, because this experience is not material, it is transcendental, and the language which you are going to speak to the other person, which the other person can understand, will not be able to grasp this experience. So it is a very difficult thing to convey the knowledge about the Absolute to another person. And it is for this reason that same questions are asked again and again, and they are answered in different ways, so that sometime, somewhere, something can strike a person, and you may get a little light or peek into the absolute reality. Ultimately, it is only by the grace of the Lord that one can understand. Experience, of course, is by the grace of the Lord, but even understanding about the Lord is not possible without His grace. Therefore, Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yastasmi tattvata. That one can know me only by bhakti, which comes by His grace. Bhaktiham ekyagrahi. So it is not a matter of just some philosophical speculation, but hearing with faith. So, Sruta Grihitaya, Bhaktya Sruta Grihitaya, and Shraddhya, Srinvatam Sakatham Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. So, when one hears with Shraddha, which also came earlier in the previous chapter, then it is possible that one will have an understanding. Otherwise it is very difficult, because whatever you hear, ultimately you understand with your own mind. And our minds are not pure. They are in kasmala, as he said. They are in a bewildered state. Like if somebody is intoxicated and you try to make him understand some complicated formula of physics or chemistry, then it will be very difficult, because he cannot grasp it. He is not in normal state. So a similar situation is here. That we have words, and the only way we can convey knowledge is through the words. And words which we are using in daily life, they are not related to the transcendence. But those are the only words known to us. So a transcendentalist also uses same words. And then it is very possible that they will be misunderstood. So the words dharma, ananda, or guna, form, actions, same words are used, whether they are related with spirit or they are related with matter. So when you say God creates, God acts, God plays, He eats, then we tend to think as we are eating, as we are playing, as we are acting, He is also doing like that. So it is for this reason that in the scriptures there are many statements which deny that God has form or God eats or God walks or talks. This is denied. And the denial is only to make us understand that He is different from us. His action, His eating, His creation, His playing is not like us. So this does not mean that He does not eat or He does not sleep or He does not act. He does that also. But it is different than ours. So for this reason, there are Advaitavadis who completely deny that God has form or He has really activities. Because it seems impossible that somebody who is absolute can act or he can move. Because movement means you going from one place to another. You leave the place where you are existing now and you move to the place where you don't exist. And it's called movement. If you are walking, walking means that you lift your foot from the place where it is existing now and then you put it in front of you where the foot is not there. But if somebody is everywhere, then how you can walk? So then some people just deny that He doesn't walk, He doesn't have form, He doesn't talk, He has nothing. But there are statements that Lord also walks, talks, acts, and that's why the question is raised here, that how is this possible? So in Ishopanishad it says that Tadayajati Tannajati, that He walks not. He is Taddure Tadantake, He is far, He is near. So how is this possible? So this is possible because He is all pervading yet He has a form. So if we see His all pervading form, then He is not very far and He does not walk. But if we consider His form, then He can walk and He may be far away. So this is difficult to grasp, and therefore before He speaks, He says Bhagavad Chitta Smayaniva, and He was smiling because He was thinking, oh, now how to answer this. But then He says Gata Smaya, then He became serious or free from any surprise because He understood what He wants to say. Munir Bhagavad Chitta iti. So he is Muni, he is a thoughtful sage, and fixed his mind on the Lord. Kathamatra samadhasya iti manan paro bhagvantam sasmaratya. So the word Muni means he thought now how to solve this riddle which he had asked. And Bhagavad Chitta means that he remembered the Lord. Tatascha sahasaiva uplabdhartha smayaniva. And then when he thought of the Lord, then suddenly he got the answer, what is to be said. And therefore he smiled. Aho dussamadhana ime akshepa iti. That actually the questions which he has asked, these are very difficult to answer. And externally, therefore he showed surprise. But because he has meditated on the Lord, he knew what he has to say or how to solve this puzzle. Therefore he was not in any great wonder. Not what am I going to do? He was not lost in his thoughts. So he began answering. Maitreya Uvacha Seyam Bhagavato Maya Yennayena Viruddhate Ishvarasya Vimuktasya Karpanyam Utabandhanam. So this is the answer which he has given. It is very interesting answer. He says that indeed it is the Maya of the Lord. There is Lord, there is Jiva, and in between there is one energy which is difficult to understand how it works, and that energy is called Maya. So he says, Sayam Bhagavati Maya, Bhagavato Maya, Yan Nayena Viruddhate. And Maya is illogical, beyond any logical understanding. And therefore it can do things which seem illogical to us. Because she is energy of the Lord. Lord is transcendental, yet she produces matter. So how is this possible? Like we have our physical body. So this body is conscious. It has life. We feel. If somebody pricks us, we feel pain. But then we have hair growing on the body, somebody cuts them. We don't even know that somebody is doing it. So in the hostel sometimes people used to do all these pranks, the students. Somebody is sleeping, go and cut his hair. Then he wakes up, he sees that his hair is gone. But he cannot cut his finger. Then he will wake up. So this is amazing that you have and hair is, it's not that hair is dead, it does not have consciousness, yet it grows. So we see that one end of the hair which is inside has consciousness in it, because it is growing. And if you pull it from there, it will be painful. But then the other end is dead. There is no consciousness, and you can trim it happily. So similarly, Lord is transcendental. He is beyond material gunas, and yet he has material energy, and that manifests this material world, which is inert, unconscious. And yet Maya is also a person. So he described that Maya stands behind Lord. Came in the second chapter, second canto. So he says, because of this Maya, the soul which is by nature liberated, vimuktasya and ishwarasya, and actually free from any control of the gunas, it becomes bound and falls into a pitiable situation, karpanyam utabandha. So this is the work of Maya. The influence of Maya is such. Otherwise, how is it possible that Jiva, who is conscious, becomes interested in matter and thinks that without matter he has no existence? And if he loses matter, he cries, because all the fear which we have is only because we may lose some matter. So this is the interesting thing. And this is the job of Maya. And there is inert matter, and we experience inert matter with our mind. And mind is also matter, but it is a different type of matter. So there was a philosopher Bertrand Russell, he said, what is mind doesn't matter. What is matter, don't mind. So, what is matter, what is mind? This is a great puzzle, because this is Maya actually. Maya has created its different levels of matter, and the jiva has become implicated in it. And suffering, although there is no possibility for jiva to suffer. But jiva is transcendental, so how can it suffer? So really speaking, there is no suffering.
Difficult to believe.
But nobody is going to believe that. And we are all working hard how to get rid of this suffering. So this is the amazing thing. And this is the question. So he says that this is the play of Maya. So we have to get some insight into Maya with the help of Maya. Because now what knowledge we have, that is also Maya. Because Maya has two vrittis, vidya and avidya, knowledge and ignorance. So in sattva guna you get knowledge, in rajas tamas you have ignorance. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. And rajas and tamas, they give moha, bewilderment. Bhavata jnanam evacha, and ignorance, bewilderment and ignorance. They are the qualities of rajas and tamas. And sattva gives some light. So there is a long commentary on this verse. Let's read it. Sa prasiddheyam bhagavato achintya aishwaryasya maya. So sa means well known, because there was no need of using sa means she the Maya. So when we say oh that Ram means the Ram which we know. Or you are talking about that John, means John who is known to us. So in the same way, that Maya. So the way that or she is used, sa Maya, means that Maya which is heard by us. We all hear about Maya, and there is influence of Maya. So famous personality, not that people don't know. And but Maya is not independent. Maya belongs to the Lord. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Devi Hiyasha Gunamayi Mama Maya. Mama means my. Maya is Maya. He says this is my Maya. So it is Krishna's Maya. Here also it is said Bhagavato Maya. Bhagavata means of the Lord, of Bhagavan, of Krishna. Maya. So one thing is that Maya is not independent. Maya belongs to Bhagavan. Maya is controlled by Bhagavan. Maya is possessed by Bhagavan. And Bhagavan has inconceivable Aishwarya. Because the question comes, how can he have Maya? Because he is transcendental. So how can he have Maya? So therefore he says, because he has inconceivable qualities. So because he is inconceivable, it is possible for him. And this Maya, what is the characteristic of Maya? Yatya nayena tarkena viruddhyate. And Maya functions against logic. So this is what Maya does. that logic we understand that there is a cause and then there is an effect. Cause leads to effect. If cause is there properly, then effect will be there. This is how logic works, basically. It's based on certain rules, certain principles. But Maya is against it, which means that simply by the use of logic, arguments, it is not possible to understand Maya. So it can do things which seem impossible. So I told the story of Narada who wanted to see Maya. So he went to get water for the Lord. So it maybe half an hour passed, but in the meantime he got married, he had children, they were grown up, he drowned, all this happened. So how is that possible that in half an hour so many things happen? So that is because of Maya, that's why that was Maya. And Maya does not mean that it is false. It's not that Maya does not exist. It is real. It exists. Only thing is that it may not be the way we are seeing it. Like we have so many optical illusions. So that is Maya, building our senses. Swayam achid rupapi chinmatrasya bhagavata eva shakti. So first illogical thing about Maya is that Maya herself is inert, achit. But it is the energy of Lord who is only Chit. Lord was called Chinmatra, earlier Chinmatrasya Vikarana. That Lord is pure conscious. And Maya is pure inert. Absolutely inert. So how is that Maya belongs to the Lord? This is the first statement against logic. It is contrary to one's logic. Tadiyaha sattvat sattvadayo api bhagavata eva guna uchyante. Maya has sattva, rajas, tamas. These are also qualities of Lord. They are qualities of Maya. They are also qualities. Krishna himself says, Devi hiyasa gunamayi. Mama Maya Dulati. He says Maya is gunamayi, means it has gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. It is my Maya. That means these gunas also belong to him. How can guna belong to him when he is free from all gunas and no guna touches him at all? So this is because of Maya. Tadapi Bhagwan Swarup to Nirguna. And although he is the owner and possessor of these gunas, yet he is Nirguna. He has no guna. He is pure, absolutely untouched by any guna. Yatha Jyotir Matrasya api Suryasya Megh Andhakar Himadayo Jyoti Pratikula api Tasya Bhavanti. So he gives one example. He says that sun is purely light. There is no darkness or coldness in the sun. You cannot say that sun is cold or sun is dark. But he says that clouds and darkness and ice, they are all produced by sun, although they are contrary to light. And they are all products of Sun. And for this he refers to two slokas from 4th Canto, 31st chapter, verse number 51 and 17. So this verse says, Yathaiva suryat prabhavanti vara punasya tasmin pravishanti kale bhutani bhumau sthirajangamani tatha haraveva gunapravaha. So just as the water is created by sun and then it enters into the sun in due course of time, just as the various objects are products of earth, all the solid objects, and they enter back into him. In the same way, the modes or the gunas of nature, they come from the Lord, they enter into him. And yatha navasya vratama prakasha bhavanti bhupana bhavanti anukramat evam pare brahmani shaktayastamo rajastama sattvam pravaha. He says, in the sky there is cloud, there is darkness, there is light. But you can also say that they are not in the sky because sky remains untouched. Sky is not touched by the clouds, sky is not touched by the light and darkness. So although they exist in sky, yet they don't exist in it. So in the same way, all these energies, sattva, rajas, tamas, etc., they all exist in Brahman, and yet he is free from them. Then another verse from 10th Canto, he refers, 10th Canto, 84th chapter and 33rd verse. So in this verse says, Tam klesha karma paripaka guna pravahe Ravyahataनुभवम् ईश्वरमद्वितीयम् प्राणादिभिः सर्वैर्गूढमन्यो मन्येत सूर्यनियमेघहिनो परागैः. So he says that Lord, he has all this klesh, karma, paripak, guna pravaha, various types of creation, material, all these things, but he is not covered by all this. He is not influenced by this. Just as the clouds, etc., they are produced by the sun, but sun is not covered by them. So in that sense, Sri Naradokter Drishtante api atra atarkata eva. So Narada is giving this example. 10th Canto, he says that is also inconceivable by logic, but it is a fact. Evameva swarupto nirvikarasya bhagavatah shaktya mayaya eva visvasrishti adikriya. So he says in the same way, Lord in his own swarupa remains free from any modifications, any changes. Yet all the creation happens by his energy, which is called Maya. So the meaning is that Lord undergoes transformation in the form of his energy, not himself. And when his energy in the form of Maya gets transformed, he does not get transformed. That's why Maya is considered as external energy. Because really speaking, how can anything be external to the Lord? If everything is existing in him, how can you say that it is not in him? It's like everything is existing in space. Can you say that there is anything outside space? Because if it is outside space, then what is there? That's why space has no end. Because if space has to have an end, then what will be there? Cannot think, cannot even conceive of it. So everything exists in space, yet space remains untouched. It is nirlep. There is nothing which contacts space. So Lord, everything is in Him, but He also has His personality and remains uninfluenced by the activities of Maya. And they all. So that's why Krishna says that I am in everything, everything is in me. Pasyame yogam ashwaram. See my opulence. Namasthani sarvabhutani na chaham tesu avasthita. He says that all living beings are in me, but I am not in them. And then he says they are in me. See my opulence. So he says they are in me, and then he says they are not in me. I am in them, but they are not in me. So he contradicts himself. This is, he has energy like this. So unless this is understood, we will not understand what it means to be God. So when you study Nyaya philosophy or Sankhya philosophy or Yoga philosophy, they don't accept this point of God having inconceivable power. And therefore their description of Ishvara also becomes limited, because they have put it more in a logical manner. But when you come to Bhagavatam, you go beyond that. That's why Bhagavatam is considered as a superior philosophy, because it tells us about God something which is not found in those schools. So there Ishvara has no form, cannot talk and walk and all this, because this is a problematic thing for them. Maya is there, somehow it creates Prakriti, Purusha. Independently both are existing. Now here, why in Sankhya or in Yoga both Prakriti and Purusha are accepted as independent tattvas? For this very reason. Because if you don't accept them independently, then how to accommodate matter within spirit? And even if you accommodate how that matter undergoes transformation, and the spirit which is accommodating matter does not undergo transformation, they cannot answer this. So they made it simple, they kept them separate. And Bhagavatam says that ultimately there is only one reality, not two. So Sankhya and Yoga is Dvaitvad. It is dualistic. We are also dualistic, but not like them. Ultimately we are monists, because we accept only one tattva. But in one tattva there is variety within it. So therefore we are also dualists. So we are both. That's why it is called Bheda and Abheda. Inconceivably separate and not separate. That is the only way to understand.
In this energy, they are also not, they have some form and some qualities and some way of acting, which is very specific.
Yes.
So it seems that they are like persons.
Yeah, they also have personality.
So God is a person and the energy is a person. So
Shakti Shakti Mator Abhedat says energy and energetic they are non-different. Because you cannot remove energy from the energetic. Or energy is not independent. When we say that Sankhya is dualistic, why we say Sankhya is dualistic? Because Prakriti and Purusha, they exist independently. They are not depending on each other for the existence. Why our philosophy is non-dualistic? Because energy, although it is existing, but it does not exist independent of energetic. So therefore there is only one reality, but it has got qualities in it, which also exists simultaneously. Yaduktam Bhagavata, and Krishna himself has said this. Prakritir yasya upadanam adharah purushah parah sato bhivanjako kalo brahma tatritiyam toham. He says that Prakriti is the upadan or the material cause of this universe. Everything is made. Upadan means the substance, the ingredients. And Adhara Purusha Para, and the support is the Supreme Person. Prakriti is not existing by itself. And Sato Abhivanjako Kala. And then third is time, which makes Prakriti manifest. So we have been reading that Kala Dravya Sabhavascha is Kala. And then Lord says Tritiyam tu aham, that I am all these three. I am Prakriti, I am the Parapurusha, and I am Kala. So Tadevam Ishwar Gatam Sanshayam Hitva Deshatah Kalatah Ityadinoktam Jeev Gatam Sanshayam Chinatti. So first he has applied the verse on Ishvara, because the doubt first was about Ishvara, that how is that Ishvara can undergo, our Lord can undergo change or transformation. So he says it is possible because of Maya. He has raised doubt about Lord, how he can be the cause and creator and everything. He also raised doubt about Jiva, that how can Jiva become bound and lose his knowledge or awareness. So he has answered the first question, that Sayam Bhagavato Maya Yena Yena Viruddhate. And it is happening because of the power of Maya, which is contrary to logic. So now he is going to answer how the Jiva gets bound in 2.5 verses. In half verse he removed the doubt about the Lord. About the Lord, simple thing is that he has inconceivable energy. And by his inconceivable energy he can create and yet remain free from transformation. He is full of bliss, yet he can act. And then about Jiva, how is that Jiva becomes bound, although he is transcendental. And then he is going to explain, which we will read tomorrow. Today Jiva can remain in bondage.
At one point you were saying that Maya is inert.
Yes.
But if you say that it is the energy of the Lord, still it is inert.
Yes. This material energy is inert. Prakriti is inert. And it is energy of the Lord. Krishna says that it is his energy, right? One Maya. And this Maya, what is this Maya? Gunamai, made of 3 gunas. So that is inert. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, they are inert. They are not conscious.
And what gives them life is the soul.
Living entity.
Now this example that the hair, no?
Hmm.
Then the hair they have one part is conscious
Also nail.
and the other part is just like inert.
You can see this in nail.
Yeah.
Up to certain limit you can cut your nail, no problem. Beyond that, it's very painful. So it is both.
So means that just to show these two different aspects of the Lord.
And this is meeting of inert with consciousness.
And consciousness.
So all these people are talking about energy and energizing and all that. That is all material energy. That is all related to the Maya.
Yes.
You speak about
All this energy healing,
Yeah.
which is very prominent these days, is all related with Maya. And it is nothing new. It existed in India before also. All Tantra, it is all related in this. That's why in Tantra they worship Devi or Shakti or Durga. That is personification of Maya, the mother Tattva. That is the Sankhya principle, Prakriti and Purusha. So they basically, the whole Tantra is how to get energy and how to control energy. But their approach is different than science. Scientific approach is offensive, attacking, overpowering. And tantric approach is by surrender, worship with respect, not exploiting. Therefore, whatever science is doing now, it was also possible through Tantra. All these powers are available through Tantra also, even more than what science has achieved. But it is a different approach. But ultimately it deals with powers, energies, and siddhis.
And the personification of Maya, for example, Durga or Kali, they are not inert.
No, they are not inert. There are some.
Yeah.
So whenever you have to perform function, you have to make in charge. So although Maya belongs to Krishna, he makes some people in charge of it. He is not directly involved. That's why he remains aloof, although it remains up to him. It's like there is government, and in the government, state government, there are prisons. So it is not the Prime Minister or President or head of the state is directly looking after the prison. He has his people who are taking care of. So this material world is also a prison. In charge is Durga. Durga means he is in charge of the fort. Fort means you are locked inside, you cannot get out. Usually fort is that you are outside and you cannot enter. But here this fort is other way around. You are already inside and you want to go out. You cannot. This is a prison. Prison is like that.
The worship of the Shakti by tantric people and initiates can be done for the sake of moksha and can be done for the sake of siddhis only. Is it like
It can be done for moksha also, but then they have to bring some other factors into picture. But mostly people are doing it for siddhi, some power.
some factor which is not tantric but Vedic.
Yeah. There is also, Tantra also has Vaishnava Tantra. There is Saiva Tantra, Vaishnava Tantra and Shakta Tantra. So mostly Tantra which is known now to people is that Shakta Tantra
Yeah, it's Shakta.
or Shaiva Tantra. And it is more popular because people are having desires, material desires for power, position, enjoyment. So obviously there is no scope.
Bowls of Bengal are Vaishnava tantrics. The bowls of Bengal, they are Vaishnava tantrics.
Yes. There is a mixture of Tantra and Vaishnava philosophy.
Is the Maya the kosher? Is it the same, Pranamaya kosher? Pranamaya kosher.
And that is just one part of
It's
it.
just that
That is part of Maya.
Maya.
It's about this Maya that she works in with the combination she starts to work with the combination of the time, within the time. And if there is no time, Maya is inactive.
Well, first of all, time is also part of Maya.
Time is also part of Maya.
Yeah. But it is activated by the Lord at the beginning of creation. And when there is a dissolution, then time is inactive. Inactive means it is because all the changes are caused by time. And at that time, time is still there, but it is not causing any changes, so it is inactive. But it is also within Maya. That's why it is inert. Time is also inert, not conscious.
In which sense it is inert?
Time is not conscious of itself.
In this sense.
In the story you were telling about Narmuni, is it like that with us too? That there is really no there's no lapse of time in our being in Maya, or being in the material world? Is it like that also?
Well, now we are experiencing time.
Yes, but I mean
But-
in reality,
But if you go, you can also transcend time. If you become situated on the spiritual level, then you have transcended time. Because time only adds some matter,
right.
and then you don't feel it. So at that time, past, present, future, everything is available. So that is also a very inconceivable thing, because we only think in terms of past, present, and future. Our mind can only accommodate that concept. It cannot think outside this division of time. So if it goes outside, that is samadhi. That is the trance. So in that there is no experience of time.
Is that's considered spiritual then? Not, it's not just some kind of energy.
But
Samadhi.
samadhi is a state of experience. When the mind is not being... Samadhi is also various types actually. When we say samadhi, there are also material samadhis. Spiritual samadhi is when your mind is fixed on the Supreme Lord. Then you transcend time. And there are many types of samadhis. Nirvikalpak Samadhi, Savikalpak Samadhi, and then they have further divisions.
But what about a samadhi where you're not conscious of the body or the mind?
Well,
That's spiritual, right?
it can still be material. Because in Samadhi, you have to be free from consciousness of body and mind. But it depends on what you are conscious, not just what you are not conscious of.
But it's also spiritual samadhi. Yes?
Yeah.
Just mean two kinds of samadhi, material and spiritual.
Yes.
But if a yogi's just conscious of the formless source of divinity or that energy,
Brahman means
what?
Brahman.
Yeah, that's spirit. Is that considered spiritual?
Yes, if his Samadhi is on the Supreme Lord or Brahman. Brahman, of course, means you have to be free from all other thoughts, then that is spiritual.
If time is a principle is an agent for change,
Yes.
we can say that space, on the contrary, is something which is basically stable, without change, something changeless. Is it possible to say something like this? By relation to time.
Einstein, he proved that, Albert Einstein, he proved that how space can also be changed, space and time both.
But one
That is
in
the whole
relation
theory
to
of
the other.
relativity.
But one in relation to the other, one can say that time is for change and space is relatively changeless.
Well, time is the factor which is instrumental in changing. So space is not undergoing change, but it does not mean that it will not undergo change, because space also becomes manifest and unmanifest by the influence of time. So things like earth, water, they are undergoing change more. We can experience that. Space, we don't experience the influence of time on it, but space also becomes influenced.
By time.
Because it also comes into existence.
So this idea of Brahman being an effulgence of Lord Krishna, is that really simplistic then? Because you're saying that the Lord is Nirgun also?
Yeah, Brahman is also Nirgun, Lord is also Nirgun.
It's not like there's a Lord and then this stuff emanating from him, which is Brahman.
Yeah, this is one way of understanding it.
It's more like they're interwoven dimensions of being.
Yeah, because really speaking, both are all pervading. Brahman is Krishna himself without his qualities manifest.